Hello YouTube, this is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, and before we get into the video tonight, I want to let you know that I do have a new teaching class on the thunderwizard.com website. It's the Interdimensional Shamanic Journey Meditation course. Go to thunderwizard.com and look for it. Also, we've got new audiobooks, a couple new ones coming out very soon, audiobooks.thunderwizard.com. Whoops, let's see, what do I want to get rid of here? I want to get rid of that. All right, so I'm in northern Florida and it's cold. That's why I'm wearing this on my head. Florida wasn't supposed to be cold, but I've been here, I think, exactly a year, and I'm going to be out of here in less than a month, going back to Australia. Couldn't be happier. I've enjoyed my time in Florida, don't get me wrong. There's been some really cool things about it. Just not my home. All right, today we are going to be talking about what happens to you after the solar flash event. And my question to you is, what is your superhero? Is that, yeah, I got a little chocolate from the protein drink I just had. There's all. So after the solar flash, what superhero are you going to be? I ask you that question because you may not have any clue how unbelievably powerful you are. You may not have any clue what an immensely powerful, infinite being you are in higher dimensions. So we first have to understand where we live now. We live in the third dimension. So the third dimension is like the point of a spear. The very, very, very tip of the spear is the third dimension. So if all you knew was what was on the tiniest part of the tip of a spear, if that was your only experience of reality, you wouldn't have any real experience of anything, would you? Well, that's what the third dimension is like. The third dimension is just the tiniest little outcropping on the top of other dimensions. Imagine it's just the tiniest little dot right here. And then there's a ball here, and this ball is sitting on another ball, and that ball is sitting on another ball. You go all the way back, all the way up into 11 dimensions. There's an 11th dimension version of you. And just to give you an idea of how enormous that is, there's no way we can comprehend that with our 3D brains. It's just not possible. But just to give you an idea, when you go from the third dimension to the fourth dimension, you go from 8 points of reference in the physical space. You've got 4 points, imagine a square, and on the top of the square is 4 points, and on the bottom of the square is 4 points. And that creates this rectangle, and we live inside that. So we have 8 points of reference to give us our three-dimensional reality. If you go up just one dimension, if you just went up to the fourth dimension, those reference points would double, go from 8 to 16. Now, as I've said before, the fourth dimension really doesn't play into it because the fourth dimension is time. So we already are in actually the fourth dimension where we're in a three-dimensional box floating down the fourth dimension of time. So things for us really don't shift until we get to the fifth dimension. By the time you get to the fifth dimension, you have 32 points of physical reference. That's just the physical aspect of it. It's not increasing, numerically, mathematically. It's not going from 2 to 4, like that. Even though it's doubling, the immensity of it is we can't comprehend it. And that's just talking about the physical space. Inside the physical space of the third dimension, there's all this energy. You have all the chi power, you have all of the Kundalini, you have all of the unseen light wavelengths, sound wave, energy waves. You have all kinds of stuff inside that third dimension. And then you have, of course, human emotions, human thoughts, and all of that is in the third dimension. So when you get up into the fifth dimension, that means everything, not just the spatial references, but the energies involved, the thoughts, the emotions, the powers of physics, gravity, electromagnetism, electricity, whatever else is going on that we can't even understand. That is much larger than just doubling in size. It's a quantum expansion. It's huge. So the energy involved, the emotional energy, the mental energy, the psychological energy, the spiritual energy is increasing exponentially. So after we experience the solar flash, which will be a shift up into a higher vibration of 3D, I think it'll probably be perhaps in between 3D and 5D. I don't know. I could care less. Maybe we'll go all the way up into 5D. I don't know. People throw around the word 5D without realizing how unbelievably huge that is. Most people, when they talk about 5D, what they're really talking about is, yeah, things will be sort of happy and cool and things will be sparkly, and yeah, I can manifest things easily and I won't have any of those lower vibrations. That's not 5D. That's just sort of a higher expression of 3D. I got nothing against it. I'll take it in a heartbeat. But when we throw around the word 5D, the fifth dimension, I know some people mean fifth density. Forget about all that density garbage. It doesn't mean anything. When we move up into the fifth dimension, we're talking about spiritual powers. We're talking about mental powers. We're talking about emotional powers. We're talking about energies that are quantumly expanded. They're enormous. So what is the truth about you, long story short, is that here in the third dimension, you're just barely experiencing the tiniest tip of reality. So whatever you think you are in this third dimension, first off, you're probably wrong. You are much greater even in the third dimension than you think you are. But that aside, what you are in the fifth dimension, just the fifth dimension alone, is something that is beyond your 3D understanding. And so after the solar flash, when we move into this new higher vibrational state, whatever that turns out to be, you will have expanded into a superhero just by the nature of moving into that. You will be a superhero. When we look and we read comics about superheroes, the stuff that they can do seems amazing to us, but that kind of stuff in the fifth dimension is nothing. Nothing. In the fifth dimension, being able to see through walls, yeah, everybody can do that. The fifth dimension, everybody can feel every single feeling every other being in the universe has. Yeah, they can do that. They can read your mind. Yeah, they can do that. They can be in any time they want. They can move faster than the speed of light. They can travel faster than the speed of light. They just by being a fifth dimensional being, you are already a superhero. Like the most powerful superhero that ever existed. Even Superman can't even come close to what the fifth dimension, any being in the fifth dimension is like. So it's in our best interest to begin expanding our understanding of ourself. That's going to start with getting rid of, becoming aware of, and getting rid of any self-directed negativity. We've been taught to believe that criticizing oneself is a good thing. I don't want to have my head in the clouds all the time. I got to be realistic, and I got to be able to make a living and that kind of mindset is based in this negativity. It's one of the reasons why people don't go after what they want. They don't go after their true soul desire, as I teach in my books, especially the Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. People don't go after that. The reason why people don't go after that is because they don't think that it's the right thing to do, to follow your soul. They don't think that it's spiritual. We're taught, you go to church and people tell you, get out of your ego, give God all the glory. Just wait around for God to tell you what you're supposed to do. We get that in school. Don't get too big for your britches. In Australia, they have, what is the term for that? I forget the term for it. Anyway, but we have all kinds of different terms. Don't get too big for your britches. Don't think too much of yourself. When people come to me and they want to find out what their soul desire is so that they can find their perfect career, and let me give you the assumption if you're new to the channel. Here's what I teach. I've proven it for myself. Students who have followed my directions to the letter have proven it for themselves also. Here's what I teach. You start from the assumption, regardless of how you feel, you start from the assumption that whatever it is that makes you deliriously happy is God's commandment for you. For me, it's surfing. That is the thing that is most important to me in my entire existence, is to surf. So I have created a life where I'm living on beaches. I live in houses right on the beach in tropical or semi-tropical places where I can walk out of my house or drive 2 minutes down the street and go surfing. And what I do for a living is designed around that. It's incredibly selfish. And it is, there's nothing about that, you're not accomplishing anything with that. No, I'm not. I'm surfing. That's it. That's all I care about. And so that has served me really well, because then my thought process has always been, all right, so I only want to do things that I already do in my spare time anyway. My hobbies that I do for fun. I'm just going to do that and make money at it. I don't know how, but I'll figure out a way to make money just doing the stuff I do anyway. And I've been able to do that as well. So that's the assumption you start from. Now, when people come to me looking to find out what their soul desire is, what usually happens is that I will start leading them down a way to think where they can start learning how to view themselves differently. And one of the first questions I ask is, so if you didn't have to make money, what would you do? Now, what people usually do, because they try and get ahead of me, so they try and get ahead of me in what they think I'm going to do, and then they start getting into the place where they minimize and they compromise, and so they'll jump ahead and they'll say, well, it wouldn't kill me if I did this, like if I worked at a gas station or something like that. That wouldn't kill me. That wouldn't really I wouldn't hate that. So they're already coming from a place of not what I love doing, but what I can tolerate. I'm giving you that as an example, that tiny way of thinking that's based on criticizing yourself and minimizing yourself, starting from the assumption that you're not enough, that you can't get what you want, you can't be what you want. And that is a choice to believe that. You can choose to believe something different. And the choice that I'm offering you is to believe beyond what you can possibly imagine. Now, what is coming for all humans is this dimensional shift. So as I have already stated, I recommend that everybody reach out and start interacting with higher dimensional beings. For the first time in human history, these beings that used to be known as angels, spirit guides, ancestors, elves, fairies, fill in the blank. Deities, things like that. Don't get me into that. There are deities, and that's a whole other thing. But the beings that we used to consider like angels and higher beings and higher guides, these beings are now revealing themselves for what they truly are. And what they truly are is they're higher dimensional people, just like you and me. The only difference between them and you is that they live in a higher dimension. Because they live in a higher dimension, they can be infinite numbers of places at any given time, which is why your spirit guide is with you 100% of the time. Your spirit guide hears every single thought that you have, feels every single feeling that you have, and has experienced every single moment of your life from before you were born until now, and is even experiencing your future. That's how amazingly connected these beings are to you. There is no being that is more intimately connected to you than your spirit guide. And your spirit guide is not just some, cloud of vapor. It is a being that has consciousness and awareness. It is a person that, if it's in the 9th dimension or below, it has a physical body. I don't know what that physical body looks like. I don't know what physical bodies look like in the 5th dimension. That's probably why extraterrestrials are so frightening for us to look at, because we're not looking at a 3-dimensional being. We're looking at a higher dimensional being. I don't know. But I can tell you from personal experience, I'm not talking theory here. There is nothing that I teach you that I myself have not personally proven and experienced. Nothing. If I do talk about something, you will know by the context I'm talking about, this is a belief or this is an assumption. I'm telling you for a fact, from personal experience, daily personal interaction and communication with these beings, I am telling you for a fact, they are with you every single second of your existence. That knowledge in and of itself should help you to really be aware of how you think. Because you will catch yourself when you start thinking really negatively. Like if you start thinking violently towards somebody, or if you're judging somebody, or if you're beating yourself up or calling yourself names, you realize, my higher guide has to sit and listen to all this. And this isn't something I would share openly. It's in my secret little tiny world, and I'm wishing death upon somebody, or I'm thinking I'm a horrible person. And your higher self has to sit there and tolerate that. So just being a nice person, you start learning to think more positively. You catch yourself when you start thinking negatively about yourself, because there's a being out there that loves you a lot. More than you can even begin to fathom the amount of love they have. And they don't want to listen to you beat yourself up. They don't want to listen to you harm yourself with your thoughts. So the easiest thing to do is just to start thinking of yourself as being this amazing being. Now, what will happen? It's already happened. It's already started. But what will happen is when we move into this higher dimensional state, we will be able to have conscious interaction with these beings, conscious two-way communication. So far, the communication has only really been one way. They will have come to you in the form of intuition, that still small voice in your head that tells you, maybe it's not such a great idea to put a bullet in your head. Maybe you got something to live for. Those thoughts are coming from an actual being, an actual person who's karmically connected to you and loves you. And they're not going to stop you. They just kind of go, are you sure you want to pull that trigger? You sure that's a good idea? Maybe let's think this one through a little bit. But there will come a time where you're going to have conscious interaction with them. I wish I could share with you all the stuff that's happened to me and all the stuff that continues to happen to me, but just take my word for it. It's the most mind-bending thing I've ever experienced. Now, I want to get you in the habit of learning how to think the way they do about you. When you start communicating with these beings, and what that'll mean is, as you continue to get less and less attached to your lower vibrational 3D stuff like self-hatred, judgment, victim mentality, limitation, judging others, fear, greed. Once you start moving beyond those things, what's going to happen is that your higher self, your guide, your spirit guide, is going to start communicating to you more openly and directly. Now, here's where it gets trippy as hell. If you've been doing CE5, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look that up. The letter C, the letter E, the number 5 protocols. We talk about that here in the interdimensional shamanic journey meditation course at thunderwizard.com. But you don't have to go there. You can find it anywhere. Just Google it. I recommend that everybody do that if you're up for it. Because what will happen is they will begin communicating with you at whatever level you are comfortable and whatever level you can handle. Those are two different things, by the way. So what my ET guides have been telling me about me has been literally so immense that it can't fit inside of me. I've gone through 2 pretty serious shamanic transformations, shamanic initiations. And each of them have been after a higher dimensional being has said, this is who you are. This is what you are. And the things they tell me are so grandiose that they don't fit in 3D. This last one, I'm not going to get specific about it yet. I'm not ready to do it. But this last one, as a result of some of the live interdimensional shamanic journeys we were doing on the live streams, and because of some other things that I was doing, I got a visitation. I get a visitation usually every day, but I got a visitation from a whole bunch of them. And some really, like this one being, I don't know what dimension he was from. He had to have been from, I don't know. It was definitely high, probably above 5D. He was huge. He was immensely strong. And he came in and he said, I'm going to give you an upgrade. And he said, I'm upgrading you to, and then he gave me some higher dimensional description of myself that my brain literally could not comprehend. And what my 3D brain came up with, if I told you, you'd laugh yourself silly, because it's literally more grandiose and powerful than any being that exists in 3D. Now, because I couldn't think of it beyond 3D, I broke. And I ended up sore and unable to move my arm again for a couple of days. Because it was just, my brain just said, I don't know what to do with that. And my ego said, that's just not possible. It's not possible to be that. Well, I was right. It's not possible to be that in 3D. But he wasn't coming from the space of 3D. He was talking about the essence of me that exists already continuously in the higher dimensions. By the work that I'm doing here, and same as you, the work that you are doing to improve yourself, what ends up happening is your higher dimensional self begins expanding beyond, and you start moving up. The other thing is that when I'm off in my astral body, I'm starting to do things and allow myself to believe that I can do things that only a superhero could do. And so you get to do that as well. Once you get used to doing these interdimensional shamanic journey meditations, once you get used to traveling around and experiencing it and interacting with these higher beings, when you get used to it, when you get comfortable, your higher dimensional guide will start telling you what you're capable of. Here's something else. You don't even know who you are in higher dimensions. You have no clue. You're walking around in 3D thinking you're just this 3D person. But you could literally be the creator of multiple universes. You've just decided to take a vacation as a human for a while. You don't know. You have no clue. So I want you to get open to that idea. But I also think that it's extremely important that we do begin to expand our dimensional boundaries within ourselves. Because we are going to shift up, and those that aren't able to expand are going to have a difficult time. The people who are going to have the most difficult time are going to be the elites, because they're so attached to controlling the third dimension and controlling you that when love, like fifth dimensional love, hits them, it's going to knock them flat on their ass. So actually, if you want to get revenge on all of the narcissists, psychopaths who are running the world, you should want them to be filled with as much higher dimensional love as possible. It'll knock them flat on their ass. It might even kill them. It's going to put some of them in the hospital. Some of them might be able to come out and let go and realize where they are and shift into who they really are in higher dimensions. And I wish that for them. I honestly do. I don't wish anybody to be left behind. I don't care who they are. And I don't wish anybody any pain or any misery, no matter who they are, no matter what they've done. Because if we wish negativity on anybody, then you've got to be willing to wish it on yourself. And the truth is, on an unconscious level, you do. Whatever you wish for other people from your place of self-righteousness, that's what you're going to get. So I'd recommend that everybody drop all of the self-righteous judgments. Drop all of the, judging the royal family as evil, reptilian, evil being demons. All you're doing is you're revealing how you feel about yourself. And that's sad, because when the love hits you, that's going to be very painful for you. You're going to have to really face how much you hate yourself. So it's better to be conscious of it now. Become aware of the self-directed negativity. Become aware of how you block yourself, how you limit yourself. And work to expand. Work to be happy. Do the things that give you the greatest joy, no matter how frightening or challenging or painful it is for you. There's nothing to be gained by holding back. The more that you love yourself, the more you love every other being in the universe. The more you love, this is the other thing. The other thing that I've learned is that every time that I do something to expand myself, every time that I share with you a new understanding or a new teaching, I swear to God, every single time I connect with my higher dimensional beings, there's a party. They have this huge party for me. And they go on and on about how grateful they are that I'm doing it for them. It's just crazy. It's the exact opposite of 3D. It's the exact opposite of all the religion that's been shoved down our throat. That you have no idea how much you are appreciated in the third dimension every time you do anything that improves yourself. Anytime that you act in any way that is unconditionally loving to any being. You save a spider and instead of stomping it, you take it outside. You you pet a dog. You're nice to the little boy down the street. You help a woman across the street. You're nice to your family. You do something for people and don't let them know that you're doing something nice for them. Every time you do that, the higher dimensional beings go out of their mind with joy. They become filled with unbelievable gratitude for you. And they are going to remember all of the things that you do. Everything you do for yourself or you do unconditionally for other people without wanting to get credit for it. Every time you do something like that, they're going to, when you leave this dimension, when you leave your physical body, you have no idea the party that is waiting for you. It's going to be unbelievable. And the good news is, as we're moving towards this solar flash, when we get to the other side of it, we get to start living more and more of that in our 3D or 5D Earth. In our physical human bodies, we get to have more and more of that. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be unbelievable. All right. I'm happy to take any questions. Bear in mind, this is a question and answer. Let me explain to you what a question is. I saw somebody throw a question on there, hadn't even heard me. I already saw it. They didn't bother to listen to anything I had to say. They just threw on some question. Listen, a question is this. A question is, you want to know something, and you think that I might have an answer that you don't have. That's a question. A question is not an opinion. It's none of that. The other thing I want, and I do want your questions, the other thing that I want is your feelings. And a feeling is also not an opinion. A feeling is an actual feeling. Reason why I have you do that is that these are the two things that higher dimensional beings love. If you go to them with an honest question, and if you go to them sharing your feelings openly with them, no matter how painful or vulnerable they are, they will take that and they will give you gifts that you can't even begin to imagine. So that's what I'd like for you to do on this channel. Having said that, we'll go ahead and take some questions. Vincent.thunderwizard.com says hello. As you know, he is one of my Vedic astrologers, and that is his website. Vincent.thunderwizard.com, and he has a bunch of services. You can see it right there in the chat. Vincent has an honest feeling. He says, I'm happy that I'm starting therapy again, and I'm very grateful that I'm going to be placed with my original therapist. That's awesome, my friend. So, every time he does that, he comes on here and he shares his feelings pretty often. And it seems like pretty mundane stuff maybe, but the truth is that when he's learning how to be vulnerable. And the more that you're able to be vulnerable without judging yourself, the happier you're going to be. It's just that simple. But you have to be honest. And I'll tell you if you're not being honest. I'll tell you if you've got some agenda surrounding your opinions or your questions or your feelings. Thundra says hello. Her website is thundra.thunderwizard.com, thundra.thunderwizard.com. You can go check her out if you want and see all the other stuff that she offers. She's a very powerful shaman in her own right. Excuse me. Zaralath the Immortal, honest feeling. I would be excited to be like Iron Fist meets Wolverine. Okay. That does sound like fun. Gremner Tomness, I've seen your name before. You know what bothers me? You don't pay attention. I have made it very clear exactly how I want you to write your questions. I'm looking at it. You didn't follow that. And your question isn't a question. And again, you threw that question up before I even started talking. So there's nothing about that that I want to respond to. So don't take it personally, but I'm not going to. Let's see, what else? Thundra has an honest feeling that got hidden for some reason, so let's unhide it. Her feeling is, I had so much energy tearing through my body the other night and actually felt like I was becoming a literal superhero, and it scared the shit out of me. I thought that's why. So you can't cuss. If you cuss, YouTube will block it. So, I thought I was actually dying. Yeah, that is my experience. Whenever we get any kind of communication, one of the things I learned about these beings is that, again, you got a being that's in a higher dimension. If they express a thought or a concept, bear in mind that thought or that concept or even a feeling is not going to fit in 3D. So when it hits you, it's going to expand you. It's going to try and get in and expand you beyond your three-dimensional skin. And that is a form of death. You die to, whatever shape you were before, and you have to expand beyond that. It's the strangest thing. The more love you get, the more it feels like it's killing you. It's very strange. But then you let your body and your mind absorb it, and you expand into it, and then you're stronger and healthier than you were before. I mean, I don't really know what the deal is. I mean, I'm doing things like I'm going surfing, and then I go to the gym, and then I write all day, and then I work, and I'm waking up and I'm not tired. And I've never been like that. I'm 59 years old. That shouldn't be the case. Normally what happens is I go and surf for an hour, and then I have to sleep all day, and I can barely get out of bed the next day. I go to the gym and I work out, and then I'm dead for a day, and I can't function. So I don't know if it's because of my interaction with my higher dimensional beings. I think that's probably part of it. But I've never felt so good in my life, ever. So anyway, take that for what it is. Vincent.thunderwizard.com, honest feeling. I'm thinking about creating a new course, and I'm having a lot of fear, shame, self-doubt, and feelings of worthlessness come up. I'm afraid that nothing I'll ever do will be good enough. Well, I completely understand that feeling, and I go through that just like you. Every single time I do a new project, come up with a new teaching. I've just come up, as you see on here, with a new meditation course that I'm going to be adding a meditation to every single day. If you want to be a part of that, the way it works is you go to thunderwizard.com, you scroll around, and you can sign up for the Interdimensional Shamanic Journey meditation course. But for $1 more, you can get the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, which is, I think everybody should be doing. Seriously, I don't know why anybody listening to me, why everybody isn't subscribed. I don't get it. You can always unsubscribe if you don't want. You got nothing to lose. It is literally the most powerful energy system, the triune energy system you can find anywhere. Nobody else is teaching it. Nobody else ever has taught it. I'm throwing it at you. I'm trying to give it to you for as cheaply as I can. The only reason I charge is because if it's not something that you value, you won't use it. That's the only reason. So I have the same experience you do, Vincent. I go through the same self-doubt, all the same kinds of stuff you do. And, I've just learned to accept that. In fact, if I come up with an idea and I really have resistance, I've trained myself to go, oh, this really feels crappy. I really have to do this one. And so I do it. And what have you got to lose? What's the worst that could happen? I mean, I can't tell you. If you go to courses.thunderwizard.com, I'm not making any money off of any of those courses right now. None of them. So what have you got to lose? You'll create something and it'll be there, and then you can move on to the next thing. There have been times when, those courses, most of them, there was times when people bought them and that I was promoting them, and I haven't been promoting any of them, so nobody's been buying them. But big deal. I can always go back and, if I need to make some more money, I'll go back and start promoting some of those other courses again. So anyway, I'm just trying to give you something to relate to. I feel the same as you. Lushka, honest feeling and question at the same time. Mahadeva, I have never had someone confirm certain syncretic events through my life. That confirms this knowing of 5D shift since I was young. Can I be cold and be happy? I don't know what you mean by can I be cold and be happy. I don't know what that means. But I'm glad to know, if I hear you right, what you're saying is that I'm confirming for you what you felt. That should be true for pretty much everybody. The truth is everybody fantasizes this way. This is why we have movies about superheroes. The movie that just came out, Black Adam with The Rock. Great movie. I watch that stuff. I'm not looking at a superhero movie. I'm looking at a true to life docudrama. That's what it is for me. I look at it and I go, oh, that's cool. I want to do that. And you know what? I can do that. Maybe I can't do it in 3D as much, but in 5D I can do it. And it's for real. It's a real thing. You have no idea what you're capable of accomplishing. And what you do in 5D reflects in 3D. So anyway, I think I cut some of that, but again, I don't understand your question. Agreeable Gray, interesting name. Honest feeling, I think I channel them. Channel them. So do me a favor, be specific. Who do you mean them? Assume that I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a good habit to get into, to always write clearly and completely and in context. So I'm assuming you mean that you channel higher dimensional beings. That's what you think anyway. From time to time. It makes me feel like some weirdo, but I'm comfortable with this in private for my own guidance. There are two who are always with me. I kind of don't know what you mean by channel, and that's not your fault. People throw that word around. I have a little bit of a problem with the word because I think of, what's his name? Bashar. Now, I think Bashar, for the most part, teaches really great stuff, but I don't honestly think that he is channeling something. I don't think he's doing that. I think it's a performance. It might help him to be able to intuit things and teach things, but the truth is that you don't have to put yourself in that crazy kind of a thing to just speak the intuition that's coming to you. If you want to call that channeling, I'm okay with that. But I would like it if people stopped spiritualizing just normal interactions. It is normal for every single person to be able to be given information from your guides and to be able to just speak them in your own words and your own, because here's the truth. When a higher dimensional being speaks to you, they're going to speak to you, and the information is going to come into your mind, and it will erupt as a thought in your mind, in your own voice, in your own language. It's not going to be some strange voice. Not going to be something talking like this. I mean, why these aliens are so weird and can't talk, I don't know why that is. So I think I understand what you're saying. I want to encourage you to get rid of the word channel and just start making it more real, making it more human. Because as you say, you feel like a weirdo. So if you want to stop feeling like a weirdo, then just say for what it is. I mean, I don't know that I've ever said in terms of this that I channel higher dimensional beings, because I don't. That's just so, I have more respect for them than to say that. I'm now channeling a higher dimension. I mean, it just seems abusive to me. No, I mean, if you and I are standing next to each other and I'm talking to you and I'm telling you about something, you're then not going to stand and talk to a third person and channel me. Mahadeva, I'm getting Mahadeva says. You're not going to then try and take on. You're just going to say, yeah, Mahadeva said. Or, I got the feeling from him that. And we can start doing that with these beings. We can treat them like entities, like beings, like people. We can stop over-spiritualizing it, trivializing it, turning it into a circus. You didn't say that, Agreeable Gray. It's just that word channel bothers me. And I wish we could get rid of it. Anyway, enough of that. Zerlath Immortal. Anyway, but thanks for sharing your feeling. It's actually not you did share some feelings. Zerlath Immortal, honest feeling. I am having the exact same experience of my new energy at 42. That's an experience. Zerlath Immortal, we've got to work with you to help you understand the difference between opinions, experiences, and feelings. A feeling is, I am happy, I am sad, I want you to start learning how to talk in emotional feelings, be able to verbalize them. I'm telling you this having worked with you for a while, just through the chat. But I already know that you have difficulty communicating with other people. You have a hard time letting them know how you feel. They misinterpret you. You're stuck in your head. You smoked a lot of weed, right? In your past? Am I wrong about that? People who smoke a lot of weed get stuck in their head. So we need to bring this down into feelings, and you need to start sharing your feelings. I'm happy. I'm staying in the moment. I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm excited. I'm confused. What you just did is you talked a big, long experience, and I have to figure out what the feeling is behind it. I'm having the exact same experience of my new energy at 42. I can work a 9-hour shift and accomplish several things. You didn't tell me a feeling. How does that make you feel? Got me? Lushka. That's not a question. Okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, Agreeable Gray, and I understand that's just a common word everybody uses. I'm consciously bringing that to our attention because that word has been used a certain way for a long time, and I think it trivializes, demeans, and minimizes what we can accomplish. I like much better, look, the time for the channels are coming to an end. And even Bashar, in his wisdom, has said a while ago that he's going to stop channeling, which I think is really smart. Because, that was something that happened in the 70s and the 80s. That was like the thing in the 70s and the 80s was, people started going into trance and talking in strange ways. And it's just ridiculous. There's another person whose name shall stay unnamed because when I've named her before, I've gotten my channel shut down. But there's another person that doesn't talk in a weird accent, but supposedly is channeling a bunch of different aliens all at once. And what bothers me about that, and this is somebody who talks about the law of attraction. What bothers me about that is that there's nothing that she is saying that isn't just good common sense advice, even if we take and we agree with it. And the thing that bothers me is that if she was just a teacher and said, here's my thoughts, here's my feelings, the assumption is nobody would take her seriously. And the only people go to her because they actually don't realize they're devaluing the hell out of her. Because the only reason they go to her is that she's channeling this, council of beings. The truth is she's not. She's just giving her opinion. She's just giving her down to earth, whatever her opinions, even if I don't agree with them. They're her opinions. And there's nothing wrong with having an opinion. It is devaluing to say my worth comes from I'm telling you what so-and-so says. It's devaluing. And it devalues the audience because it says, that the only value I have to you is that I speak from blah, blah, but the only value you have to me, it's a way of getting attention without earning it. It's a way of getting respect without earning it. And we have to shift out of that. It's time for us to accept and love ourselves as we are, completely, authentically as we are. No more hiding behind masks or facades or any of that. Let's just be who we are. That's what's coming for us. All right, again, I'm looking for the questions and the feelings. Zeralath Immortal, feeling part 2. I mean that the ecstatic feeling I have, you have. I feel it too. I know you do. I'm still telling you to put it into an emotion. You still haven't done that. You're still stuck in your head. Put it into an emotion. It's not that hard. You got to learn how to make this a habit, my friend. Vincent.thunderwizard.com, honest feeling. I'm feeling happy. See, he just did that right there. He threw in an emotion. I'm feeling happy that I'm making progress with my step work. Sometimes it's hard to connect with my higher power and I'm struggling to cope with emotional flashbacks. Step 3 and 7 prayers help. So the feeling of having a hard time connecting with your higher power is just that. It's a feeling. It's not a fact. You may have a hard time feeling connected, but there's no difficulty there. Your higher power has no difficulty being connected with you 100% of the time. Having said that, I understand and relate to your feeling. Vincent's, again, honest feeling. I'm happy. See, there it is. You hear the emotion. First thing that comes out of his mouth is the emotion. I'm happy that I made a significant income this month. Good for you. All right, let's see. What else? Anything else? Nothing else. Are we done? Is that it? Okay, so if you're new to this channel is not about listening to me talk. You're wasting your time if that's all you're doing. If you're on my channel, I've told you the best place to go is here, thunderwizard.com. Subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. There's a bunch of videos, but the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, there's just a video. You click play and you just follow and do what I do on the video. And I guarantee you will connect to your chi, you will connect to your kundalini and the lightning center that surrounds your heart. I guarantee you will have a more powerful experience of yourself and be able to make more decisions toward creating your best life, and your energy levels will rise to the point where you will be able to connect with these higher dimensional energies much more easily. Go to courses.thunderwizard.com to see all the other stuff that I have available. And right now we've got some new audiobooks coming out. So go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com. And if you want to see the audiobooks that I've got currently available, here they are. Extraterrestrials are coming to Earth. Odin says Jesus was a coward. The shamanic secret commandment to a perfect life. RUNE shamanism. Happiness, and what's the other one? Wealth shaman. You can't see it. And you see those links, starting at the top, bit.ly/extraterrestrials. If you use those exact links, you will not only be helping me, but you will be able to get a free trial of Audible, and I think you'll get ultimately 3 free books when it's all said and done. Don't take me to court over that. That's just what I think. You'll find out for yourself. Go check those out. And if you don't, either you're 10 years old and you literally have no money, but you want to do the energy practices, I'm going to write in 2 here for you. Just do it. You can go Google this one, HUUL breath. Just Google that. You'll find the videos of me teaching you how to do it. And this one. You can find this one in my playlists. Learn to go on to my YouTube page. Thunder Wizard, DOTCOM. Go to that page and click on the playlists. I don't know where the playlist, they've hidden the playlist somewhere else now, but look for the playlists and get Awakening the Immortals, or that's not the exact name. Something very close to that. Something about the Immortals, something. Those things are free. Those are powerful. Do that. I dare you to do those 2 practices every day for the next 30 days. Give it a try. What have you got to lose? If you do that, I guarantee you will have an experience. Lushka, question. Mahadeva, when you do the nighttime practice and close, you're talking about the 90-day, would you recommend the mantra first or the Big Dipper right after? By Big Dipper, you mean the 3 ones meditation? Or do you mean something else? The mantra should be done before the closing meditation. Let me double check. How do I do that? I mean, here's what I do. I would be doing something powerful like the 5-element spirit fighting. I follow that with the mantra meditation, and then I will follow that with a close down or with the 3 ones meditation. Did that answer your question? I hope it did. All right, that's it. We all done? Nothing else? Okay. That's all. And also people, I've been getting questions from people who have been doing the Warrior 90 Day, who were asking me really basic questions that I've taught for years. And what it tells me is that they're not going and doing the other things that they have available. Let me just give you an idea of what when you subscribe to the Warrior 90 Day Lightning Qigong, you get that. You get the Interdimensional Shamanic Journey Meditation course. You get the Manifestation Mastery course. And then beneath that, you get the Mastery of Shamanism. So you want to learn what elves are, what dwarves are, the three selves. You want to learn about the three selves, the energy selves, the higher self, the middle self, the lower self. You want to learn about runes. You want to learn about rituals. There's so much information. There's no way you could subscribe to the Warrior 90 Day Lightning Qigong and be able to learn everything in all of those videos. I mean, it would take you a year if you were doing, a couple of years. I don't know. It'll take you a really long time. So make use of it, guys. Make use of it. Make use of the books. Make use of the information. Don't be lazy. Be willing to do the work. It will pay off for you. I've been giving this out for the past 10 years. The stuff I've been teaching, really, I wouldn't teach it to you if I didn't think it was valuable. There's so much stuff to learn. Anyway, that's all. All right, I think I'm done. No more questions? Okay, that's it. All right, guys, thank you so much. I wish you all the best. And as always, my desire is to inspire you to go beyond where you are. And that means doing the work, putting the effort in, learning how to research, learning how to think, doing these meditations and these energy practices, and making that the priority in your life. Because when the solar flash hits, I promise you, you will thank me. You will thank me for having a technology that allowed you to shift into that higher dimension without having to be knocked on your ass and ending up in the emergency room for a week. Okay? All right, that's it. I wish you guys all the best. I love you, and I will see you all next time. Take care.